Hey, I'm Dean with Back Roads of the Blue Ridge YouTube channel. Today we're going to go for a ride in a car. I'm usually on a motorcycle or a bicycle, but we have about 6 inches of snow here in Boone, North Carolina, and it's still coming down. And I want to see how the little Honda Civic Turbo Sport Hatchback does in the snow. Just put some new general all-weather tires on. It's a front-wheel drive car. So let's hop in the car and take a ride. Okay, starting up Winkler's Creek Road. All the main roads have been plowed really good and salted. It's 31 degrees, so they're pretty clean. The back roads, as you can see, are starting out a little bit slippery. This is a front-wheel drive car. I've got good all-season tires on it. Everyone in this area seems to think they need a four-wheel drive to get around in snow. I've lived in the mountains, these mountains, for all my life, and except for owning a WRX for a few years, I've never really owned a four-wheel drive. I have a two-wheel drive pickup. There's only been a few times that I've actually not been able to get to where I'm going, at least using main roads. State takes pretty good care of these secondary roads, especially the ones that have a lot of homes. This is a fairly wet snow. Said it is 31 degrees, so a little warm to have it warmer than a nice light fluffy snow would allow for. Now coming up on Russ Cornett Road. Winkler's Creek would continue on towards into Blowing Rock, North Carolina. Now it's going to get a little bit slicker as we gain elevation, and this road is less traveled and a little less maintained. So hoping I don't eat my words on needing a four-wheel drive. And this is a little spirited little car. The turbo makes this a little pocket rocket, which on slick roads would pretty much just rocket me into the woods if I get a little too frisky. front wheel drive and good all-season tires, unless it's just really icy or really deep. Shouldn't have much problem getting around. As you can see, we are getting a little more snow on the road. Probably at about 3,600 feet elevation right now. Work it a little bit there. And it's all, driving in the snow, it's all about throttle modulation, being easy on the throttle. If you feel it spinning, you need to back off a little bit and let traction come back. And it's the same with braking and steering. It all takes gentle inputs. Show you a lockup right there, and that's not, I didn't slide much, so it shows that there is pretty good traction on this. Connect continues here. Now it's going to get even a little trickier. Obviously, the more elevation I gain, the more snow we're going to have. And the dicier it's going to get. So I hope I don't eat my words on needing the four-wheel drive. Feel it's getting a bit slicker here. I am having to modulate the throttle a little more, trying to keep from spinning. Here we got a little bit of uphill that's gonna be tricky, trying to use the tracks from anything else that's been up through here that's cut it down to the pavement a little bit. And no problem. A little bit of spin, but not enough to even turn on my traction light to come on. All these roads that I'm on now are some of the regular roads that I ride on my bicycle and motorcycle. nice twisty roads, good pavement on this one in particular. And the only issue with a front-wheel drive car on the slick is when you get back into the throttle a little too soon through a turn, you can feel the front end want to start pushing out on the turn. And you, like right there, getting a little push, you can't recover it with the rear wheels. And one thing I'm not a fan of in this car is the electronic parking brake. I like in these type of cars, I like a handle parking brake. In this kind of snow and this kind of conditions, you can use it to lock the rear wheels and actually help to finish a turn if needed sometimes, and sometimes keep you completely out of trouble by bringing the rear end around instead of pushing the front end off. Generally in snow, going downhill is sketchier than going uphill for obvious reasons. We're now turning right onto Poplar Grove Road, heading back towards Boone and Highway 105. At about elevation is about 4,150 feet here, so that's our highest point for this drive. This road's a little more traveled, so it will be a little better maintained, but at this elevation you can only do so much. Passing Yanalasi Saddle Club on the left. And it's all downhill from here. This is a fun descent on the bicycle. Can sometimes hit close to 50 miles an hour. And there's someone that's back down the driveway and slid off. And that's another handy usage for the parking brake. Backing down a hill like that, using the parking brake to kind of control your reverse speed. instead of the foot brake. Tends to, well, instead of and with the foot brake, it kind of gives you four braking points and a little more control. As you can see on the windshield, the snow, it is a little bit of a wet snow still. It's not just floating off the windshield. Hence having to use the wipers. I was hoping not to use the wipers constant, and I'm hoping I'm keeping the windshield clean enough to keep a good view on the GoPro. And we're approaching the end of this road. We'll be getting back into civilization, or as urban as it can get in Boone, North Carolina. Home of Appalachian State University. And here we are, Highway 105. A little more, one more look at the Civic Turbo and a close-up of the tire tread. You can see what we just did that using. The little Honda did great. I hope you enjoyed the ride. If you did, click like, subscribe, and share. And hopefully I have some more nice drives with you. We'll try to do this again, catch a couple other roads, and look forward to being back on the motorcycle.